Hey, welcome back to the show. I'm here with comedian Denis Leary.
Smear campaign.
We got to jump on that. We got to go.
You got to defend.
You know, Dennis and Miller, and you know, like you said, Dennis is out of a job now.
Yeah.
Did you do the Dennis Miller show?
No, I was going to do the show, and then things got busy, and I couldn't do it, and I haven't done any of those shows.
Yeah.
I just do this show. This is the show I do.
You've been very busy.
Let me tell you something. I watched the camera. I wanted to say something. The camera went off. I was like, that's right, it's not my show.
No, you can say anything you want, but
this is my show.
Yeah. Well, we love to have you here.
Havey and me. Okay.
Boy, if we would have been on Afterdrive, though, we'd still be there.
I know. You know something? The biggest celebrity guest we had in Afterdrive was Morton Downey Jr., and he'd been dead off the air for 2 years. Okay? You know, I mean, he didn't even have the big teeth anymore at that point. It was ridiculous, and he'd quit smoking. I mean, so it was like, that's what Afterdrive was like. So, Morton, you're not yelling anymore and you quit smoking? That's right. Okay, we'll be right back after this. You know, we didn't have a lot of big guests. You get a lot of big guys in this show.
Yeah, we were starting to get some great guests.
Yeah, Bruno Kirby I saw on here one night, and I saw some huge famous actress on here one night. I mean, I can't think of it now.
Catherine Harold?
Lily Tomlin, that's
yeah,
what it was. And
yeah.
I was like, wow.
And Catherine Harold's pretty. She's not huge, but she's a... Yeah. I mean, you know, not weight-wise.
Hey, the Modern Romance, Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, yeah, I fell in love.
Well, let's not talk about her.
Okay, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. But you've been doing movies.
Yeah.
Like crazy. What are you doing? What kind of parts are you playing?
Well, interestingly enough, the first thing I got, which you know because you've done movies, so the first part I got was this part in this movie called Gunman, which is like a drug-running film, which was written sort of as an updated Western. So the interesting thing was even the bad guys were kind of, even the good guys were kind of bad guys. Everybody was kind of a bad guy. Everybody was taking money. So it was a dramatic role. Got the role. Had to take it because it's the first break. And then right after the dailies were going back to California, we were shooting in Mexico, and I got this audition for this National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon, which is a total over-the-top comedy spoof. But the director said, well, the guy has to, you know, read for me because I don't know if he can do comedy. So I was actually in the opposite boat, what I should have been in. The guy thought like I was just this bad guy, dramatic actor guy. And
well, that's a compliment.
Yeah, that was fine with me.
Yeah.
I just had to go in and prove I could do comedy, which is what I do for a living. So.
Do you want to get out of comedy? Because a lot of guys doing one-man shows now, they want to get away from stand-up more into acting.
Yeah, I want to keep. As a matter of fact.
When was the last time you did stand-up?
The last time I did stand-up was, oh man, was right after the one-man show closed. I was doing like some sets around town, and then I got this movie, and then another movie, and another movie. So I just didn't have the time. So by the time I got back to doing the one-man show for the week that we were shooting it, it was like all those muscles were, you know what that's like. It's 3 weeks is a long time not to work those muscles, and I was really flabby and worried and stressed out. And then you get up there and it's like riding the bike. Everything kind of comes back to you, and you know somebody yells something out, and you just like shoot them down, and you're like, hey, you know. But you know, it really is a frightening thing because I don't think people realize when we do this, we do it all the time. It becomes like second nature to us only because we're doing it all the time. And so you don't do it for a couple of weeks. I remember, you know, when I was just doing stand-up for like a few years in a row, you know, you take like 3 nights off and you go, I got to go down to the club and do it.
Oh, it's like a drug.
It's like a drug. And that also keeps your mind working, and all those bits that you never really sort of write down there in the back of your head, they're right there because you're doing it all the time. But you take like a few months off and you go like, hey, wait a minute, what was that bit again? What do I say about Ross Perot? Wow, you know.
Or you get to a part in the act where there's this blank space.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I had a big hunk here.
Yeah, right. And you think it's just going to roll off your tongue.
Yeah.
And then you got to act like, yes. So what do you think? Hey, how do you people feel about the campaign? You know, you know what do I do next?
So are you going to relocate to L.A.?
No.
You're raised in Boston, but how are you going to stay? If you get more movies, there is a beach out there. You know, it's going to be it's going to be tough to stay out of Los Angeles.
A lot of beaches to walk out there. No, I'm an East Coast guy, and you know, if I had my way, I'd still be living in Boston. But you can't really, you know, you got to be in New York or LA, and I'm going to stay here for as long as I can, because you know, I'm like you. I think I like to walk out of the door and really have to immediately start worrying about, like, you know, hope something falls on me. Hey, what's that guy? The guy's got a gun. Holy cow, you know.
Yeah.
And I just think everything's better here. The people, the food, the bars, the teams. Well, not this year, but
you walk outside, and you're in a city, as opposed to getting in your car and maybe driving to where civilization is.
Yeah, or like trying to pretend you're actually talking to real people when in fact they've had everything from inside their head sucked out through cosmetic surgery, and, you know, and they've just got buzzwords like yes, no, like, and you think you're actually having a conversation with them, you know.
We love your voice.
Yeah.
You have a voice, Dennis.
Some of those people in Los Angeles who just get like, hey, look, wait a minute, whoa, 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 you know, you got to read something, you know, even just the directions, okay? Just read the directions, and you got to read something. You know?
Now, the Red Sox, your beloved Red Sox, of course, didn't make it this year.
How about those Mets, though, huh?
Yeah, the Mets. I'm a Cardinal fan, so.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, Ozzie Smith is leaving the Cardinals, apparently.
Is he?
Which I find hard to believe.
Yeah, well,
you know.
he's been with them like 12, 13 years.
Yeah, but you just don't let that guy go.
I wouldn't if I was GM of the Cardinals.
I look at it this
Well,
way.
how do you feel about, let me just ask this, we only got a couple minutes. How do you feel about the World Series being in Canada?
I don't feel very good about that at all. Okay?
I didn't think so.
Okay? I have a hard enough time right now accepting a Canada versus, you know, Canada NHL playoff thing. I mean, that's like, we've taken most of those guys and brought them down here and given them the money. I mean, I think we should really, you know, have all those teams down here, maybe except for the Montreal Canadiens. The fact that baseball is being played, you know, over the border now. And that stupid Blue Jays logo, like a softball logo, you know. But my favorite thing about baseball this year was Jack Clark, you know, going into bankruptcy because he bought 18 cars in a year. You know, I mean, the guy was paid $8 million in a Red Sox contract, and he bought 18 million cars. There's literally a guy who gets $1 million and goes, hey, I can buy a car with this, like one car. There was a Ferrari, it was listed, it was $800,000. Okay? I mean, how do you drive them? Which days does it work? You know, today's Ferrari day, tomorrow's. He had, the funny thing was he had 4 of the same car. He had 4 BMWs, all black, all the same year. You know.
It's like underwear. Put your name on it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, you know.
Now, well, you're making some money now. I mean, I haven't talked to your accountant or anything, but you got 3 movies, you got the book, you got the special on Showtime. You're starting to see, you know, it's not like that, you know, Don Ho Jack you used to see at Boston Comedy Club.
Yeah, right.
Here's $20,
Yeah,
you know.
Right.
What's the first big thing you want to get? What's you know?
The first thing I want to buy?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I want to buy is 4 BMWs and.
Give one to Jack Clark.
I want to buy Jack Clark and just have him sit around my house and talk about the cars. You know? Come on, Dennis, let's take my Typhoon out and drive that around. No, I mean I can't really. I'm in one of those states where I can't really buy anything because I'm so busy, and also I have my you know, my kids, so that's a constant. I mean, the truth is most of the stuff I buy is like I leave the house and my kid's like, oh, present, so I got to bring a present home because I'm not going to be home all day, so I got to go stop at like, you know, Woolworths and buy like a G.I. Joe, you know, and bring it home to the kid. And while I'm in Woolworths, I could come across something that I want, like, you know, a big lighter or something, you know. So that's about it.
Did your dad buy presents? If you would have said to your dad growing up, present, what would your dad?
Now, most of my presents, because we were growing up, we didn't have a lot of money. My dad was a mechanic. Most of our presents were actual parts from cars. There you go, son, carburetor. Thanks, Dad. You know, so.
All right, well, Dennis, listen, thanks for coming by, man.
My pleasure.
You're going to be in New York for a while? You going to L.A.?
I'm going to Chicago. I start this movie Judgment Night in Chicago in 2 days, and then I'll be back like in November. So maybe in November we'll, you know, go out and have a couple of beers, do some smoking.
Okay, we've been promising that for a while, but we got to do it.
Yeah, and finally get our schedules together.
Then, well, maybe at New Year's we can quit together. Do like
okay. New Year's, you and me on a beach walking and Entertainment Tonight smoking. That's the shot. Okay.
Denis Leary, we'll be back right after this.